Podcast bites.
Here we go. The return of Erick Godsey.
Thank you for having me back on, man. There's a meme out there that you can change a habit in 21 days. No. That meme was created by a plastic surgeon who found that when he did plastic surgery on people in about 3 weeks, their self-image changed because but that's not what the habit change research shows. A university in London found that on average, it takes about 90 to 120 days to make something a new habit, depending on how hard it is for you to do it and how consistent you are at doing it. And essentially, whatever the sacrifice is, you try to articulate it as a single habit change. You write it as what is called an implementation intention, which is basically, I will perform behavior A in situation B to achieve goal C. If you state your habit change like that, research has shown that you have a 300% higher chance of actually changing. And I could get into that actual study if you want to later. And then you just track it. Like, I keep it super simple. I have this goofy child-looking whiteboard next to my door where I just write a big X in a red marker every day I do the habit. And truly, everyone listening has about 4 or 5 habits that they know they should acquire. And that if they acquired it now, the rest of their life would fundamentally transform. And what people tend to do is that New Year's Day comes up and they want to do all 5 at the same time. And they go really hard for 2 weeks and then they stop. But if you pick one thing at a time and you work on it for 90 days, after a year and a half, you will have acquired 4 or 5 fundamentally new habits that if you had for the rest of your life, you would completely transform your life. Like, if everyone here truly got their diet right, it would transform their life for the rest of their life. But people are rushing. And I think it's because habits are like compounding interest. Like, if you really get a habit right now, the compounded interest will fucking explode over the next 50 years. So if you start like a writing habit and you write every day, 10 years from now, you're going to have books and books, or just a full website of all the things that you've ever wanted to talk about. If one of your habits is you really want to meditate and you get that right, you will have a mind that you can point and do whatever you want with it in 10 years. If your thing is you really want to get your body right and you want to work out, like I'm 28 and I haven't got my workout habit down, but I'm starting to get it now. If I continue with it, I will have a body that will serve me when I'm 90, and like, to really connect to how powerful your life can change if you get a couple of core habits right. I think that that's one of the ultimate self-improvement practical practices that you can do, which is just habit change. And so that's the last thing that I would add to that workshop.
That's so sick. Yeah. And the idea that we've been talking a lot about finances, obviously. Got Ramit coming on and some different people. And this idea of compounding interest I've heard of it before, but I have never fully understood it until now. And I don't think that I fully understand it, but I do understand what it means. And the main call to action there is to fucking get started sooner, right? Man. And they talk about people who start saving at 25 versus 45. It's mountains different at the end of the day with what they've accumulated. And I think the same can be said for fitness or mental health or any of these other things that we're working on. The sooner you get started, the better, right? Because that's a longer life you've lived healthy rather than unhealthy. If you first get into shape when you're 45, awesome. But if you got into shape when you were in your 20s and never lost it, even better, right? I think the other point to make too is for people who are listening that are 45 and aren't in shape, get started now.
Yeah.
Don't be pissed that you didn't start it when you were 25. Same thing with fucking investing and taking care of your future. I'm 37. I started a 401k 2 years ago.
Yeah, man.
Like, it would have been way better if I started that in my 20s.
Yeah.
But I'm happy I started now rather than when I was 45 or 55.
Yeah.
Right. So I think, and then one last piece on that is, this thing you brought up about people going hard to the paint the first 2 weeks of the new year and then burning out and giving up on everything. Yeah. I think that's because they're trying to change everything at once.
Yeah.
Right. And you're inspired, you want to do it. You got a fire lit under your ass, but you try to accomplish too much at once. And I think it's much easier if you can write down those 4 or 5 things and then prioritize them and work on them one at a time.
One at a time.
Maybe 2 max, but one at a time, you're going to for sure land that thing in 3 months and keep it there. Then you go to the next piece, and you're constantly finding something new to work on yourself. And maybe those priorities will change, but that's fine. If number 5 moves up to number 2 and that's the second thing you do, that's totally fine. But that's how you can systematically approach positive change and integration in your life.
Absolutely. And I think that the key there is so counterintuitive, but one thing at a time, max 2, and you'll find that in a year, you're going to have acquired so much more than if you tried to do all 5. Like so there's 2 quotes that come up. One is, the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. The next best time is now, and so you can't change your past, but you can affect the present. And so if you are trying to change, you can start now and it's okay. And the other one is, what is one of the most famous myths about 2 types of animals trying to accomplish the same goal? It's the tortoise and the hare. And truly, the tortoise wins. The tortoise wins. The tortoise wins. Slow and steady, pick one thing at a time, track it, try to do it every day. Create the smallest amount that you need to do each day to have done it. So like when I was trying to make meditation a habit, I started at 1 minute. I just have to do 1 minute every day. Because before that, I was trying to do 20 minutes in lotus pose, never fucking got beyond 5 days in a row, ever. But then the moment I changed it to like, I can sit in whatever position I want, and I just have to do it for 1 minute. I started to do it every fucking day. And now every day, like clockwork, I show up to my desk and I meditate. And I don't even have to think about it anymore. Like truly, it pulls me to it now. And I think that that's what happens when you actually acquire a habit, is before you have to push towards it. Like right now, I still have to push towards the gym, and I'm going to keep doing it. But you're at a point where I'm sure it pulls you. You are pulled to the gym.
Like, and I feel completely off kilter.
Right.
I mean, I could take a day off. I really only lift weights 3 days a week, but if I miss that one of those 3 workouts, I feel a pull to go.
Sure.
Something feels off inside because my body is accustomed to the feeling I have from working out, right? And your body is accustomed to the feeling you have from meditation.
Yeah.
And how important that is. I get fucking antsy indoors. That's why you see me, we're both, we got a large group of people doing walks with their shirts off outside in the dead heat of Austin summer. Yeah. Because it's so powerful.
Yeah, man.
And there's not a day that I'm at this office that I don't get out and walk at least 1 mile.
For sure.
At least. Even if I'm fucking super sore enough to walk like an old man, I'm going at least a mile.
Yeah.
And oftentimes 3 to 10 miles I'll walk.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there's this beautiful thing that when you really connect to your potential, to the person you could be, it begins to pull you as opposed to you having to push towards it. And it's such a, like, I did NAD for the first time yesterday, and it was a sensation that I could never have anticipated until I felt it. I think most people feel like they're pushing their life. And once you click over into that feeling of you feel like you're pulled, like it is impossible for me not to be religious now. Like, I don't subscribe to any specific religion, but there is truly this feeling of there is this force at the end of my life that feels like it's pure love. And I think it's my potential, and it's just pulling me towards it. And I have so many chains around me. And as it pulls me towards him, those chains have to fucking get burnt off. And like, I just have this weird knowing that like, I'm going towards it, and it's going to burn off all the bullshit, but it's going to, be like 100 years.
Yeah. It's fucking awesome, brother. I think the one last thought I have on that is we have to break our own chains. Hercules doesn't come and do it for us.
I think Hercules is a part of us.
Okay. There we go.
It's our intention. Like, you have to fucking go do the uncomfortable shit. You have to do it. But Hercules, I think, is a part of you. Yeah. So there's not someone else who's going to come save you.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, brother.
There is no box. You create that box in your mind, or someone else creates it for you.